Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the final factoring methods. We have already talked about if you have simple x squared plus bx plus c. So you have x squared plus 4x plus 3. That's easy because all you really need to do is break up the 3 and 1. So I get x 1 1 1 3 plus plus. No big deal. We've also done ax squared plus bx plus c, but we've done it with fairly simple options. And those fairly simple options were when we had something like 3x squared and a plus 5 and a plus 8x. So you had something like this, where when you broke it up, 5 only had maybe a couple options. And the 3x squared only had a couple options, 3x, 1x, and plus plus, and those worked out kind of nicely. But now we're going to do something a bit stronger. It's still ax squared plus bx plus c, but now you have something in the following. 24d squared plus 39d equals 18. Now, folks, this is significantly more challenging because 18 has lots of options. 118, 2, 9, 3, 6. Here you have 1, 24, 2, 12, 3, 8, 6, 4. By the time I put all these combinations with all these combinations, it's going to be an absolute disaster. So first things first, remember our steps are take out common. So let's take out what's common. In this case, I could take a 3 out of everything, leaving 8d squared plus 13d minus 6. Now, that still has multiple options, 1 and 8, 2 and 4, 3 and 6. Over here you have 1 and 6 and 2 and 3, but at least it's a smaller pile than we had up here. So let's see what we can come up with here. In this case, I want to make 13. Let's go with 2x, 4x. Okay, I guess 2d, 4d. And since this is a minus sign, I need one positive and one negative. And why don't I go with, I don't know, let's try 3 and 2. So here's 3, here's 2. So I get 8d squared minus 4d plus 12d minus 6. Is that going to make 13? No. So I'm going to go 2d minus or plus 2, 4d plus or minus 3. So we're going to put those together, and I'm going to get 8d squared, and I'm going to get negative 6d, and then I'm going to get plus 8d, and then again minus 6. But those are not going to make what I want, so that's no good. So I've tried this combo. Let's go with Let's go with 3 and 6. So let's go 6x, 3x, and let's go with 2 and 3, plus and minus. So here we go. We get 18, and we get 6x. Does that make 13? No. 6x minus 3, 3x plus 2. In this case, we get 12x, negative 9x. That doesn't work. Okay, let's go with 1x, 8x. Let's go with 2 and 3. So plus and minus, and so here we go. And so we say 8x squared minus 3x plus 16x minus 6. In this case, 8x squared plus 13x minus 6, we actually found it. But here's the thing. Out of all these options, we actually ran into it fairly quickly. What we need is we need another way to solve these that's going to work every single time besides just trying over and over and over. The answer to that question is if I have ax squared plus bx plus c, I can use the quadratic formula. quadratic formula to solve. The quadratic formula is negative of b, or opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now you say, that is nasty and ugly. Yes, it is. I call it the sledgehammer, because this will work every time, but it's a lot like hanging a picture with a sledgehammer. It will work, but it's going to be a mess. Now, in our problem, we had 8d squared plus 13d minus 6. We already know that a is 8, b is 13, c is negative 6. So all I have to do is plug it in. So what is the opposite of b? The opposite of b would be negative 13. Plus or minus square root of 13 squared minus 4 times 8 times negative 6. Don't forget to bring the negative along with the c. All over 2 times 8. Now, according to order of operations, we have to do what's in parentheses first. To do what's in parentheses first, we're going to do these and this. So negative 13 plus or minus the square root of 169. Now, if I take my calculator out and I say 4 times 8 is 32, 32 times 6 is 192. Now, because I have two negatives, that's going to make a positive. So 192 plus 169. Answer is 361, all over 16. So negative 13 plus or minus the square root of 361 all over 16. If I take the square root of 361, I come up with 19. Negative 13 plus or minus 19 over 16. Now, that means I have two options. Negative 13 plus 19 over 16. Negative 13 minus 19 over 16. In that case, I come up with 6 over 16. And here I come up with negative 32 over 16. Now, the nice thing is that turns into negative 2. This turns into 3 over 8. You say, wait a minute, that doesn't match our answers. Well, yes, it does. Because if I take x plus 2 and 8x minus 3 equals 0, I'm going to solve each one. X equals negative 2. Here, plus 3, 8x equals 3, x equals 3/8. Does it turn out to be the exact same thing? Yes, it does. So, this is the quadratic formula. It will work solving all of these factoring problems. So when you get stumped, you can always go to this method. You'll see why I don't use it all the time, because it's actually fairly long by itself. But over here, we could have kept guessing forever. So by using the quadratic formula, it really helps us begin to solve some of these problems. That finishes up our factoring for this chapter, and that really gets you solid. But this is one of those topics you're really going to have to know well before moving to geometry or algebra 2.